Hi again, welcome back. So now we're going to start looking at etiquette. So this is the real nitty-gritty stuff of networking. So we're going to flip back and look at the different formats that we discussed. And we're going to really take a close look at the informal ones, the relaxed, open, coffee kind of over some social drinks networking. So let's have a look at the etiquette involved in these kind of networking situations. So coffee and drinks, relaxed, informal, fabulous for those extroverts like moi. But it could be for anyone, and you're most likely to find yourself in this kind of networking situation. So it's good to know what to expect and what's going to happen. So they tend to be relaxed and informal, so there's not a structure to it. You just come along, there's people in the same room drinking the same tea and coffee, or maybe a glass of vino or a beer, and it's just an opportunity to meet new people and mix and mingle and have a chat. So it's all about building personal relationships at these kind of networking situations. Be yourself. Again, it's relaxed and formal, so showcase who you are. So some great tips and etiquette for these relaxed and informal networking situations. Arriving on time is a great one because it means that you get a chance to, or sometimes a little early if you want, you get a chance to settle into your surroundings. It takes away that dreaded moment of walking into a room full of strangers because you're one of the first ones there. So it means that anyone that arrives after you is walking into your room. It also gives you the chance to get to know whoever's hosting the event, and they're going to be the most connected person there. So get to know them and build relationships with them. So yeah, speak to the host. Tell them about what you're doing, tell them about your work, the people that you're looking to meet. They're going to be the most connected person there, and it's their job to ensure that you get as much as possible out of that event. Being colourful, don't feel like when you go into a networking event that you have to wear black or grey, especially if everyone else is wearing black or grey. By standing out, by being colourful, or just showcasing who you are, showing your personality through what you wear. And if you're comfortable, again, make sure that you're comfortable first and foremost. But if you're comfortable by wearing something brightly coloured, it helps you stand out in the sea of dark suits. And it means that you're more memorable as well and approachable. So don't be afraid to be colourful. The hello handshake is a traditional greeting, of course. However, moving forward, I don't know if that's going to exist. So I can't currently advise on whether or not you should. I probably right now would say no, don't shake anyone's hand when you meet them. So moving forward, there could be the namaste, there could be an elbow pump, there could be, a foot pump. Anything is up for grabs at the moment. So a new form of greeting is yet to be found, I guess. So we'll see in the next year or two as to what social etiquettes are formed post-lockdown. It's very interesting times. So the handshake, not so much right now, but we'll see. Who knows? Name badges. If you get a name badge, sometimes you'll get given a lanyard which has got you can put a business card in, or it's got your name already on. Sometimes at the back of the lanyard it's got the like the Wi-Fi details and stuff, especially if it's in a conference. Or if you're given an actual badge, pop it on your right hand side. That way when you shake someone's hand, if you do shake the hand, it means that your body traditionally moves in towards them, so it means that they can see your badge a lot easier. With a name badge as well, I always say, ladies, be careful if you've got a low cut top and your badge is positioned, because it can get, if someone's trying to look at your name badge, it can get a bit awkward. And you don't want it. Networking can be awkward enough. You don't want to add awkward. So name badge on the right hand side, or just somewhere that's easily visible so that people can quickly, oh, yep, that's their name. If you're anything like me, terrible with names as well. It's not a good thing. So name badges are good. But yeah, just think about where you're positioning it. And try and leave your mobile phone somewhere that you're not tempted to pick it up. There will be a time at a networking event where you've ended one conversation and it's this limbo space of time where you're left between ending one conversation and starting another one. And it is the most tempting thing in the world to just reach for your phone, because that's our comfort blanket. When was the last time you sat and had a coffee and didn't have your phone on in your face? When was the last time? Think about it. It's probably a while. Or went to a restaurant and had a meal by yourself and didn't stare at your phone the whole time. Most people don't eat in restaurants by themselves anyway. But if you did, you probably had your phone. So try and practice. Look at the clock and say, right, I'm going to sit without looking at my phone for 5 minutes, and then just sit and enjoy a coffee, watch the world go by without looking at your phone and get used to it. Because in a networking situation, if you get your phone out, that tells everyone else in that room that what's on your phone is far more important than talking to them. And that's not a good thing to tell people. You're there to meet them. If I saw someone stood on their own, I would go and chat to them straight away. But if I saw someone stood on their own on their phone, I wouldn't go near them because I'd assume that it was important and they were busy, and I wouldn't want it would feel like interrupting if they were on their phone. So by getting your phone out, you're actually putting up a big sign that says, don't speak to me, I don't want to be here. So try and avoid the temptation of getting it out. Put it in a different pocket than you used to. Leave it in a bag, pocket somewhere. And yeah, don't avoid the temptation. So there's some tips for relaxed, informal networking. Now, next, let's have a look at conferences. It's a biggie, this one. So event etiquette when it comes to attending conferences. So conferences, seminars, same kind of structure idea. Obviously conferences tend to last a bit longer, so they have a little bit more to them. They're a bit more meaty when it comes to networking. So there's usually, especially at a conference, a designated networking time or space. So there's sometimes, especially if it's at a conference over a few days, like a zone, a networking zone area. Similarly, at a conference, they'll have networking events within the conference. So they'll have set times on certain days where you can go to a certain area, it's usually within the networking zone. Or sometimes they'll have like a pre-launch party, which is an evening drinks thing. They'll have dinners within it. So if it's over the course of 2-3 days, this conference, there's bound to be multiple networking events within that conference. So it's really important to make sure that you have a look at the itinerary for the conferences to make sure that you can get the most out of attending, and looking at the networking opportunities that are available. Make sure that you book on if you need to book on, or at least know where they are so you can go and attend and get as much return from your investment of time and financially as possible. It's so important to make sure that you're utilizing every opportunity within these conferences and seminars. Obviously, conferences and seminars are themed, so it's fantastic for being strategic because you know what the topic is. Therefore, you can get an idea of the type of delegates and people that are going to be interested in attending. So the theme is a great indicator of who's going to be attending. Listening and learning, get as much information and knowledge as you can from all the seminars, the sessions, the training that's available within conferences, workshops. Just really engage and get social. So social media is fantastic for utilizing conferences and seminars, and we'll look a bit closer at that later on. So the final in-person format we're going to take a closer look at is awards. So awards, evenings, dinners, charity events, those kind. What kind of etiquette is expected at these kind of events? So awards and dinners. It tends to follow the format of arrival and the schmoozing and drinks on arrival. Then there's the dinner. Then there's the focal point of the evening. So it could be an awards, it could be a keynote speaker, it could be a charity auction, and then finish at the end, which sometimes there could be a band or dancing, or it could just be final coffee and drinks and then get out. Tend to be on an evening. I've been to a couple of like awards daytime dinners, but usually tend to be an evening affair. They're hospitality style events, these. So it's a bit different in terms of the networking. It's not networking with everyone in the entire room. You tend to network with the people that are on your table. There tends to be a seating plan at dinners and awards. It's a more intimate way of networking. So rather than networking with everyone, tends to be more about networking with the people that are on your table. At the beginning, there's small talk over drinks. So it's like relaxed, informal style drinks networking at the very beginning of the evening. The drinks on arrival section tends to be more about reconnecting than networking with new people when it comes to awards evenings and dinners. This could be different if you've been to a conference and there's a dinner associated at the end of the day or the end of the conference, and it's more about engaging with people then. So it depends on the circumstances, but there is usually that small talk opportunity for informal networking over drinks on arrival. So it's a great way of reconnecting with people that you've already potentially met throughout the conference, or reconnecting with people that you've already met. It's a good tip to arrive with someone at these dinners because the networking on arrival can be more cliquey. It can be a little bit more intimidating. So arriving with someone's a good one, or asking your host to meet you on arrival. So again, you're probably going to have someone, at least one person there that you know. So being able to either arrive with them or meet them on arrival so that you can navigate the drinks reception in a lot more relaxed manner. And it's their job again to make sure that you're comfortable and having a great time. They invited you there. They want you to have fun and to enjoy the evening and get as most out of it as possible. So asking them to meet you on arrival, and then they'll introduce you to some other people that are going to be sitting at your table anyway. So it's a good way of kind of building those relationships at the get-go. A lot of these dinners and awards evenings, it's about being seen to be there. So you will be building on relationships you already have, being seen to be engaging in these kinds of events and being seen to be at them and with your host. It's a great way of raising your profile within your network, within your industry, within your area of expertise. So a lot of these can be about being seen to be there as much as it is about building those relationships once you get there. Taking some cash with you is a really good tip because I've often missed out on this one. So at awards evenings and charity events especially, there's most likely going to be some kind of prize draw. So they'll ask you to put some cash in an envelope and put your name on it, and then you'll pull one out of the pot and then you'll win a prize. And often they're really good prizes as well. So if you want the opportunity to support the charity that's sponsoring it and also potentially win some prizes, then make sure you've got some cash with you. The rest of the evening's probably going to be free, like the dinner will probably be paid for and the drinks and stuff. But yeah, taking some cash with you so you can pop it in an envelope is a great way of maybe taking home a prize. Lovely. Checking the dress code, that's an important one because you don't want to get caught out. Sometimes things are black tie, sometimes they're cocktail dress, sometimes it's just informal, formal. It's very confusing to navigate this, especially for the women. It's a lot more difficult. Do you go full length ball gown, or is it more of a like smart trousers and a shirt? Like, it's a whole thing. But anyway, just ask, either check on the website, ask whoever's hosting the event, or find out who's organising the event or the dinner and ask them what the dress code is. But then always again, make sure that you're comfortable so that you feel confident. Find out what the dress code is and then make sure that you feel comfortable. That's the best advice. Looking out for delegates lists. So often at awards evenings or dinners, there's going to be a delegates list floating around somewhere, and it could be in the form of a program for the evening. Sometimes they have who's there. Sometimes it'll be a table plan. You can snap a little 40 of who's the names of all the people, and sometimes they'll just have a delegates list out on the table. It depends on the situation. It depends why everyone's at the dinner. If it's an academic dinner, there might be literal delegates lists given out so that you can see who else is in the room. You might get them prior so you can do research, which is super valuable. So it just depends, but always look out for a delegates list. If you get the opportunity to see one or get one, then do some research if you can prior. If not, ask the host. If there's a delegates list and you think, oh, I'd like to speak to this person, ask the host to introduce you. That's what they're there for again. And watching the wine, that's an important one, because if there's free wine, which there often is, make sure that you just pace yourself, especially if you're a bit nervous. You don't want to be necking the wine because you'll wake up the next morning and you'll feel bad for it and you'll be like, oh, what did I do? What did I say? Oh, we've all been there. But anyway, so we're watching the wine, maybe set yourself a limit. We're all adults here, so, just something to be aware of. And especially if you're nervous, just make sure that you pace yourself, throw some water in between, a couple of wines, and yeah, have a good time, but just careful, that's all.